So you guys remember a video that we did a while ago that we went to Paradise Lake Park. Let's see what the hours say. They're not open until noon. This is not working for me because it's 10 o'clock. Well, it's more than obvious I'm going to have to come back later, but what we're going to do is, since I'm already out here now, I'm going to make a drive through and I'll point out a couple of places that we're interested in. But we wanted to try something different, as I mentioned. And there is a large area, which I'll try to show you a map here. There's a large area that's off to the upper left whenever you're looking at the map in front of you. That's just all open. I mean, it's so far open it's ridiculous. So let's go show you what that looks like. You can see that this is a older style campground. This is pretty typical what you find at a lot of campgrounds, and they do a pretty decent job. They try to keep up, but these roads get really rutted. You can see down here they've got the beach. This is where they set up the fireworks. Looks like that they're trying to do something right now as far as setting up the fireworks too. I mean, it's a really nice park. I've always thought this park could be something very, very nice, but you know, nobody's getting rich off this stuff. They're surviving, and you can see all the permanent campers here. You know, they've been here a long time, but it's a nice park. It's relatively quiet. They don't have too much going on as far as trouble. We got to go up this little incline here. Unlike a lot of campgrounds, this place just has you park in the grass. They just have you find the spot that you want and park. Every post that you see out here, and there's a lot of them, is 2 sites. Most of them power and water. They've got water run out to all these. And there's the gazebo. You can see this is pretty nice out here, and it was for 4th of July. We did it in our old RV a couple of times. 4th of July they have fireworks, and you remember it was real muddy and everything. Well, we decided that we wanted a 50 amp site, and we wanted sewer and, you know, have a hookup. So this is the other part of the park that nobody comes to or comes through. These are permanent sites that are back here. These are the full-timer sites, however you want to say it. And it's actually the nicest part of the park. And of course there's multiple sites that are available, but what I like the best about this place is it's secluded, really. Doesn't mean that your site necessarily will be secluded, but it's about as high as I'm going to get right now. There's a couple of homes back here, and then permanent campers. And you can see the power poles off to the distance next to the light poles. All right, see where the motorhome is there? And you see where our RV's at. I'm just waiting for this guy to get done mowing over here, and we're going to pull on the other side of the motorhome. We'll be facing the woods. Now, the nice thing is the campgrounds are on the other side, and all the activities that go along with that, of course, we get to do. You know, we get to do all that stuff. But if we have visitors in that, as long as they're over here, there's no extra charge for them to come in daily. However, if they go over to the park for the swimming or the fishing or anything like that, they got to pay to get in there because it is a recreation facility. But yeah, this is a little unknown part of Paradise Lake. See Heidi down there. This is probably the first hard rain that we've seen since we left Florida, believe it or not. We had some rain in Texas, but oh, that was pretty hard too. But what I'm saying is in the RV, sitting in the RV. And I wanted to show you guys, as much as I can, a feature that the awning has, that a lot of these new power awnings have, and that is this rain dump feature. And basically, as long as you have it lubricated really well, and you have these knobs disconnected, it has a feature that as the rain comes down, and loads up the awning, it will dump itself. You can see over there, it will overload with water in the the material here, and when it gets so heavy, this is designed, again, as long as you have it lubricated and you don't have these knobs right here tightened, to hold it in position or anything, it will dump itself. Now, of course, usually when it's raining, you've got a wind issue. You got to be concerned about wind. So if you have awning tie downs and stuff like that, the dump feature won't work. So you would just have to put down one side like you would with a traditional awning and, let it do its job. But you can see it raises back up as the rain builds up. And again, we got a little bit of wind here. But as the rain builds up on the awning, it'll get heavy. And these arms, this arm here that has this slider is just like the one down there. It will collapse once it gets so much weight on the awning and allow all the water to run off. Now, of course, if it's really pouring down rain and there's no wind, which might be a rare thing, it's going to put down both arms and the water's going to run off extremely fast. Looks like that the rain cut back quite a bit, so I don't think that I'm going to be able to show you unless I do it manually. So all you got to do is just kind of reach out here, pull this down. That's what would normally happen automatically when it's way too heavy, and it dumps all the water. So if you guys don't know, that's the rain dump feature. Now, if high winds happen, if there's some kind of a wind thing that goes on here, I should say high wind, but winds that kick up and you didn't expect it, these will fold up to some extent. The awning will kind of fold up to help, instead of trying to hold a nice, strong, steady position where it currently is. They will give. And we found that out when we were in Texas, and there was a dust devil that came through the park that we didn't know was happening, and the awning folded up. It folded up a lot. Basically, it collapsed the arm here, and the awning went up, the roller tube went up in the air quite a bit above the RV, and then came back down again. Of course, high winds is a good reason for putting the awning in. And of course, rain. Again, I mean, there's no sense in it. Now, the only reason that I put this out is because the awning is filthy dusty, and we haven't had a chance. This is the first real bath that the RV got with the slides out. And lightning striking. But with the slides out and the awning toppers on the slides, the slide toppers, and then of course this awning getting washed off. So it's pretty cool. So we're hanging out over at Heidi's mom and visiting our grandson, and man, is there a storm moving through. We haven't seen storms like this for a while now. It rained the other day, which you caught on a video, or I showed on video, but man, this is low-end tornado wind speeds. And the storm hasn't quite got here, but this water was like glass early this morning, and now it looks like that there's a river out there, which this is just a lake. And I just backed the truck in, and I backed it up into their yard quite a ways for the garage to help protect it. And good thing I did. Look at that. It's already falling down. Yeah, see what I was talking about, the storms down here in these old trees? That was laying out in the road. But we avoided it. Gotta be careful down here. Beautiful day though. One of the things I've been wanting to talk about is a tip that we have as far as our shower. We have one of these Oxygenics heads on our shower, and we have a positive shutoff on here. We haven't really found a need for those factory ones that the RVs have. And what I mean is the shutoff valve for the shower head. You know, the ones that come with the RV, when you turn them off, they still leak, and they say, oh, it's so you don't get burned and all that stuff. You don't need that. I mean, the water does get a little hot when you turn it back on for just a couple seconds, and then it goes back to whatever you have the faucet set at. So I don't like that leaking. I don't like it leaking the whole time. So we have a really nice brass. I mean, it's a high quality one. I think all that stuff's in the links in our store. I'll check with Heidi, but just go to the store. We'll have her put it in there if it's not in there already. But as far as taking the shower itself, you guys all do the same thing. We only have, a 6-gallon hot water tank. Some people have a 10-gallon hot water tank. And you could take a hot water shower without shutting anything off if you move at a pretty quick rate. But most of us do that whole Navy shower thing, sailor shower, whatever you want to call it. Basically, with the sailor shower or Navy shower, you turn on the water, adjust it to temperature. You wet yourself entirely, then you shut the shower head off, rehang it, or if it's still up there, turn it off. I usually have it in my hand. I have to to get my head wet. And then get your soap out, soap up, lather up, shampoo up, and then go back to the wand, turn it on. Again, it'll be hot just for a couple seconds. Let the water adjust, and then just rinse off. Rinse everything off, and then shut everything off, and you're done. The thing that we found is, especially being out west, and when you're running the air conditioner a lot, you can see here's our air conditioning vent. I got a little cardboard in there. It has a tendency to shut when both air conditioners are on high. The wind's just too much. It closes it. Anyways, the dryness that you may experience with air conditioning running all the time or in a dry climate, you wet yourself down and you turn that shower head off at the beginning of your sailor shower, like I mentioned. And then as you're lathering, if you're like me, you got a lot of lathering to do. And it seems like that occasionally I have to go back to the faucet and the shower head and turn it on briefly to wet the washcloth again to finish, because everything's drying. I'm drying out, and even my hair, especially being so short, even though it was soaked, sometimes it feels like it's dried out to where I got to go back and get some water. Where you wouldn't have to do that if you get some cheap soap. Now Heidi has her own little shampoo regimen here. That's what this stuff is. I don't use her shampoo, but I have body wash, shampoo, and conditioner. This stuff, it's 32 ounces. It's only $1 at the dollar store or the Dollar Tree. And the thing is about the cheap soaps is they're cheap, which is nice. But more importantly, most of the time when you get a cheap soap, they have a lot of water content in it. If you look at ingredients of almost any shampoo and soaps that are in a bottle, it seems like water's the first ingredient, which I find hilarious that we're paying, or these companies are paying to ship around, soaps that could be concentrated with no water, because you're taking a shower with water. You got all the water you want. I don't know why they don't make some kind of a shampoo or something that rehydrates once you turn on the water and actually start using it, but that's something else entirely different. But what I found is with the cheap soaps, they have such a high water content in the soap that you don't have to go back and re-wet and do all that stuff. It's more, you can tell when you pour it in your washcloth, it's more liquidy. It's not so much a gel. I mean, it's still gel-like, but it doesn't puddle up. It just kind of puddles out. It kind of flows out across the washcloth. That's the best shampoo or body wash to have whenever you have to do sailor showers. I mean, when we lived in a house, we did the exact opposite. I would find the stuff that was the thickest gel that I could find because it was more concentrated, and I got more for my money that way, so I thought. And probably right, at least good quality, because we had unlimited water running over us the whole time, so I didn't need a lot of water in my shampoo or my body wash. Well, you do whenever you're in, like I said, a lot of air conditioning or drier climate. So that's my tip. You may want to experiment with your body wash when you're RVing with the sailor shower, and you might find that the cheap dollar stuff will go a lot longer and actually be a lot easier to use when you're doing these RV type showers. All right, so beautiful night. Another 100 degree with the heat index. We have a grandson because Heidi's mom's got poison ivy from head to toe. So we're watching our grandson, which we got plenty of room for him to run. And we had to stop over at Heidi's mom's house to pick this up. Now, what is this? I'll tell you what it is. Late. If you guys are ordering these things, don't expect them anytime soon. The lead time on this was 5 to 7 weeks, and we got it in 10 weeks. Here's the thing: we still haven't got the other one, and it looks like it's going to be at least another week for that. The other thing is, they just dropped it off. That's a FedEx thing. Just dropped it off at the Heidi's mom's garage door for all the world to see. No signature required, nothing. You can kind of see the bike. What it is, you know, outside the box it says everything about electric e-bike. Got a picture of the bike and everything. So luckily, we saw when it was delivered, and just so happened Heidi's mom was able to go out and scoot this thing in the garage. So I'm not going to do an unboxing or anything. Here's the thing: what we're going to do. I'm going to put this thing together, which it's assembled. I just need to get it out of the box. And you can see how small it is. Very excited about that. But at some point, we need to do some comparisons. So we'll get this out and compare it to both the other bikes as far as the overall length, the height, the riding, just everything in general. And just give you a summation. Summer radiation. A summation of all of this. But I wanted to just let you know, don't expect to get it real fast if you're ordering it. Now, again, we have these for sale. We've had, I don't know how many people contact us on it. I think where we're at is being out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody wants to necessarily drive this far, but we'll get them sold. And hopefully these bikes will be okay for Heidi to ride, and she doesn't say, well, I don't know, I like mine better. I guess we might have to sell this one instead. We'll have to see though. So bikes are out. Heidi and I have pretty much equipped our bikes with almost everything that we needed, except for the lights. The lights are coming tomorrow. We'll go ahead and get those straightened out. And as you see, it looks a little bit different out here maybe as prior, and that's, of course, the bikes are out away from the RV, and that's because it's axle day. It's time to do the axle. Now, this is the best part. The only time I've talked about the weather was it was 100 and some degrees with the heat index, and yesterday was beautiful, just like today. A breeze, 75 degrees, no humidity really to speak of. So we decided today would be a good day. It's a Friday, and that way it gives us reason to celebrate. If you guys remember, we did this axle change on the front in Yuma, Arizona, and we had to wait until it was later in the evening when it was 100 degrees, and then we could start working on it. Now, it's kind of nice because I don't have to worry about disturbing our neighbor, because we don't have a neighbor. He left yesterday. His time was up. As far as our itinerary, we're going to be here for roughly another 10 days. And I don't see anybody else coming in here necessarily, which is really nice, although Labor Day is coming up. Yeah, this is, it's nice to have all of this to ourselves. There were some people on the hill, they left. So, yeah, I mean, I could park the truck there. I could park the truck on the next hill, and you can kind of get an idea. I wanted to point this out. See each one of these mounds? There's a mound there, then there's another mound. They brought in that fill, and that's what makes a spot, a lot. And this used to be, you know, trailers, mobile homes. And it's the same over there. There's flat spots out there. Those were where the mobile homes are. I really think that they should, you know, capitalize on that a little bit more. I've talked about it, but the thing that we've got to work with, oh, I forgot the antenna's up. I got to work with that too. Forgot the antenna's up, Hyde. So we're gonna have to do something with that. Maybe loosen it up. We've been talking with WeBoost and asking them why these things keep on coming apart. The adhesion, and it doesn't come off the RV. and it doesn't come off this plastic piece. It just rips apart. I'm not sure why.
They'll be more than happy to send you new ones.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
They don't give you a reason.
Yeah, just like Heidi said, they'll send you new ones. But anyways, you can see this is set up for seasonal, late in the season. But this park does close. And
October 15th.
Yeah, October 15th. Wonder why Heidi remembers October 15th.
Because every park around here closes October 15th.
Pretty much.
That was what I was running into.
Yeah.
Making reservations.
So we're not going to put the slide in just like last time. We will keep an eye on the antenna. It will slide to some extent as long as I have this loosened up here. The pole will slide up and down. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. And the thing is it's just limited jacking that's necessary. I got to work under the slide to get the wheel, the tire off, which that kind of sucks. But ask Heidi, it's not gravel.
It's not gravel and it's not dark.
And yeah, because we had to work when it was a little bit darker just because of how hot it was in Yuma. So again, a lot of you probably don't know this, and I could probably show you maybe from this angle. The rear tires are doing exactly what the front tires did. And somebody had mentioned, oh, maybe your frame has a bend to it where it's mounted. No, because as soon as you put the new axle on, they're perfectly straight up and down. So again, I don't know if you can tell this on camera. It's probably going to be really hard, but there's a larger gap that can be seen. You can see the front tire around this rear tire a little easier at the top than at the bottom, even though I'm pretty much moving straight up and down with the camera here. And that's because the bottom of the tires are out further than the top, and it's something to do with the axle. This was drastically shown in our last axle and called Dexter, and because it's a warranty, they have a 10-year warranty. You're put on a priority, and they make one up and ship it to you right away before anybody's orders or anything else. If it's under warranty, they'll ship you one right away. So again, we changed that front one. Wasn't a big deal. It's not hard to do. And then we're going to change the rear one because, of course, again, they shipped us another axle. I like these axles still. I don't know. How do you feel about this, that we've had to do this now to both the front and the rear axle? Do you think that when they were doing these series of axles, when these RVs were being built, that they had a bad batch maybe?
That, or we drove on some really nasty roads.
We did do that. I was mistaken on our mileage. When we left Ohio from this very park, from the driveway that's over there, because we emptied our tanks. When we emptied our tanks, we had like 3,600 miles on the truck. And now we have 20, what now?
22.
Yeah.
Probably almost 23.
Yeah. 22 or 23,000 miles. So we've done a lot of towing. I mean, basically 20,000 miles worth of towing and driving. The truck was empty and not being driven a few times on some long distance runs when we were in Colorado. But other than that, all the mileage on the truck has basically been towing, and it's been holding up really well. Of course, the RV's been holding up real well, except for something like this. Somebody requested a step-by-step. I don't think that's
a step-by-step.
Yeah,
you did a step-by-step pretty much the first time. We're not going to do it this time.
I know, because honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest, guys. If you are going to watch my video to figure out how to change the axle on your RV, you shouldn't be changing the axle on your RV, because this is really straightforward and simple. And I don't want to do something that you guys say, well, he didn't do that, and he didn't put in his slide, and my slide's damaged, and now that's his fault. He should have told me to put in my slide or something. Yeah, I'm one of those do as I say, not as I do type guys. And I know I can get away with.
What works for us might not work for you.
Right, exactly. So we're going to raise the jacks up on the RV, the stabilizer jacks, and put some wheel chocks in the front, take these wheel chocks off,
start working. It's not a big deal. I wonder how fast.
This won't be a 4-hour
No.
like last time.
Yeah, last time we took our time and
Well, we were
filming.
right.
And it was at night. We had to work with lights.
With flashlights that we didn't have, that
Yeah.
we do have now.
Yeah.
They were less than
Stellar.
Yeah,
that's for sure. I'm kind of dragging along because I want my bike to be fully charged before I unplug it, but oh well, maybe we'll have to unplug it anyways. I guess I could roll it forward and
Can
be
you
able
plug it in over there?
and it's in the sun. I don't like that charger to be exposed to heat.
Oh my gosh. Let's get ready to get this done.
Heidi's getting ready. Here's your gloves.
No, I'm the one that has to run back and forth. And let's not drag it out.
Here's your gloves.
I got plenty of gloves. I don't need them.
So the plot thickens as far as what's going on with these new axles compared to our old axles. Now, if you look, our old axles have basically failed a little bit. You can see that they are currently not off the ground as much. So here, what we have them set up as, let me see if I can get you in the sunlight a little better, is representing the axle upside down up against the frame. So let's just pretend the concrete is the frame of the trailer. And you can see that the brake backing plate, that's the part that we're looking at here with those two wires sticking out, is touching the concrete. So much so that it's actually lifting it up just a little bit here. And it's like that on both sides. So it's not these cracks that are in the concrete that are causing that, because it's doing the same thing over here too. However, look at this one. It's up off quite a bit. Look at that. Look how far it's up off the ground. I mean, that is an inch worth of height that we should gain to some extent. Now, I'm hoping that it will settle. I think it will settle. That way all the weight's not on the back. Now, here's the other thing. Big change. They definitely had a problem with these arms, these links. If you look at this wishbone, this dog bone, what looks kind of like a dog bone, which I'll try to hold the camera and show you at the same time here. See this piece here? It looks like a dog bone. Look how it's a big cavity here. It's a casting. It's a recess in the casting that makes the effective thickness very thin in the center, because on the other side has this same casting indentation. I don't think I can show that to you, or I'd flip you around there. So what I think is happening is those arms were deflecting or have twisted or have weakened. And that, in addition to maybe some rubber breakdown, because if you look here, this crack in the axle where the arm, the control arm, or whatever you want to call it, the travel arm, probably not coming out on camera very well, but the crack is actually greater here than it is here. So we're looking at you know, a difference in this arm and the way that it pivots out, because it's bent essentially, where this one here is tight and flush. Not only that, look at this. This is one big solid piece of metal. There is no cavity on either side. Now, first thing I was concerned with is, oh great, now I have one of these axles on the front when we replaced it in Yuma, and I have one of these beefy axles in the back. That's going to be a problem maybe. And here, what they did was, their first fix, which may or may not have worked so well, I'm not sure, because they did go to this, is this same piece here with no indentations on it. That's what's on the RV for the front. I don't know if I can show you this because I'm not in a position to give you good camera angles with this phone, as our camera's inside, but I'll try. Let's see if we can get you down here. And you can see there's no indentation anymore on either side. We just have these numbers. So it is a lesser casting than what is on the brand new one that we're getting ready to install. However, it's not, oops, sorry. It's not as weak as the one that we just took off. This one in the back. You can see right there again. So I have no doubt that this design is definitely far better, and it's probably what they've superseded to. Looks like that they decided, hey, we're having a problem with those links, maybe bending, so let's get rid of the indentations in the casting and make it a solid casting. That didn't work, so they went to a whole new design, a whole new casting, and this piece is definitely beefier. All right, with that said, we've got a friend coming out to get this old axle from us. In the meantime, after we double checked all our measurements and everything, we know it's time to slide this one underneath, and Heidi's going to bolt it up for me. Not really, she's been helping though. So let me go ahead and get moving and get this back up and on there. Okay, so we neglected to show the axle finale. Reason being, one of our friends, Jeff, and his girlfriend Pat, hey Jeff and Pat, came by and picked up the old axle, and we are taking care of the pallet. Yeah, we got busy there for a little bit, but this is the first fire we've had since when, hon?
Wildwood, when we burned pine cones.
What? Yes, when we were at Wildwood last year in November, we gathered up some pine cones and we burned them, and that was pretty much it. These fire rings they have are so heavy. You can ask Heidi. You can see they're on these 4x4s down here. That's off the pallet. I wanted to make sure it got lifted so air would get underneath there. And I could barely lift each side just for her to scoot those things under there real quick. That is heavy. That is gotta be, that's more than ½ inch. That's gotta be 5/8, maybe 3/4 inch steel, rolled steel. Boy, if this thing gets red hot, that thing's gonna stay hot for a long time. But anyways, the axle installation went pretty smooth, and we learned something today. Heidi learned something for me, and you guys are gonna laugh because I just didn't look. The center caps of the wheels on these wheels, I didn't realize they had little hubcaps on them that could come off, so you could get to the bearing buddies. So I thought the bearing buddies, it was a nice thing because all I had to do was take the tire off and the wheel, and then I could grease it without taking off the whole drum. Here they have little hubcaps that you don't even have to take tire and wheel off. I didn't know that. So anyways, we learned that today. Man, this is warm. It's a beautiful night out. I don't think there's any stars. Oh yeah, there's some stars out there. I know you guys can't see them. No, that's a street light of some kind. But it is, it's getting cool. We are in kind of
50s at night, 40s.
40s, yeah, 50s and 40s at night. So a little bit cooler than we like. But we only have about 10 more days here. I think we're going to post this video. Yeah, let's post this video. So I'll edit the video. And I've got some news for you guys. It's coming up, and it has to do with our internet. I don't know if you can see the tower up there, kind of in the dark. But yeah, we got some news about internet and stepping it up. Ooh, got a little fire outside the ring. Trust me, I would give lots of money to anybody who thinks they could make this grass catch on fire out here, because it is wet and damp out here. It is moth weather. We got moths everywhere.
We didn't get our bikes underneath the awning in time.
They're all covered.
The seats are all wet. I wiped them all off.
I told Heidi, I said, how dumb are we? I said, we've got the bikes that we're getting rid of, we got them all covered up, and then the bikes we're keeping, we just have setting out. They're under the awning, of course, but still. Okay, let's do this. Close it out.
As always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.
Bye.